friend Tom Murphy now joins us on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Tom, that's what Arkansas is looking for right now. Beef. Jonas Adu, he's exhausted his eligibility in college basketball. Big Z's in the portal. I guess first and foremost, Cal's going after some guys that can help him in the front court.
Yeah, he is. And as we just heard in that clip, everybody's going to eat. So, we'll see what transpires with that. But if you're a fan these days, I mean, you can sit around and wait for things, but I don't get too worked up over it, man. People are going to do what they're going to do, and, the coaches are getting after it. So we'll see what the roster looks like when it's all said and done.
I know that's a phrase that Cal's used with that 2012 team that had Anthony Davis, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, I want to say Deron Lamb was on that team and others. They had, I believe, 6 guys drafted. So, Tom, I know that's what he's talked to freshmen and other high-profile transfers before is like, guys, if we go on a run, you guys all have a chance to get drafted. And I would guess that's going to be a pitch here in the coming days and weeks when it comes to guys that could potentially make their way to Fayetteville.
No question about that. I mean, he's got a variety of ways he can appeal to recruits now. I mean, look at last year's team. We did what we could to build the roster. We made maybe a couple of mistakes, and then we had some guys get injured and really had to scrap and put things together, and we still made a run to the Sweet 16. And quite honestly, should have made a run to the Elite 8.
Yeah. Tom Murphy with us, brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council. I think the first thing you got to do is figure out how many that are on this roster come back, and then you got 3 of the high school signees. So how many in the portal do you need to go get? And I guess probably the bigger threat to the existing roster leaving for the transfer portal is probably a bigger issue with the NBA draft and how many are going to test the waters of professional basketball first.
Yeah, I would think so. There's a lot left in the calculus for John Calipari and staff. Did Boogie Flan show enough that he can be taken? I do not know that. I'm looking at Carter Knox, Adu Thero. I see guys that need to stay in school, but that's just me. It's hard to evaluate what a guy's game is going to look like on the next level when you're in my shoes. I don't get paid to evaluate for the NBA, but and also, what are the kids thinking? What did he think beforehand? Who's in his ear? All kind of issues come into play on this. But yeah, determining who is not going to go to the NBA and is going to return is always a big deal.
You got a couple other things going on. You got the scholarship expansion out to 15. I don't know that that's as big a deal as some other things that are going on in the game, but that is one thing that when you start doing the calculus on the roster, you got 15 spots. I think the bigger thing is, figuring out 7 or 8 no longer works. Heard Tom Izzo talking about this prior to their Elite 8 game with Auburn, and you can keep 10 or 12 happier by giving them the minutes. Question is, are there enough players to go around to all the top shelf schools to play at an elite level, Tom, and go 12 deep anymore?
Yeah, that is a great question. And we found out with Arkansas that having 8 or 9 guys that you can really play, I mean, they got to the Sweet 16, but it didn't work out so well in the middle of the season. So I think they want to be deeper. I do not know how the 15 scholarships is going to play into that, but surely between revenue sharing, which is very likely to take place, and the added scholarships, Arkansas should not run into the same type of depth issue they did this season.
Yeah, and I heard Izzo speak on this. I'd love to hear what Cal's thoughts would be, and maybe you got to go through it to figure it out. But having 12 guys that can play keeps the legs fresher, limits injuries. Now, Michigan State's not playing in the Final Four, so that wasn't the golden ticket or the thing. But it does make sense that if you can go deeper in your bench, your legs should be in better shape and probably a little less injury-riddled like Arkansas was this year. If you could put less stress on guys throughout the course of 30 games.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And honestly, once Adu came back fully and all that, and then Zero and Flan go down, they're lucky that they didn't have any further problems.
Yeah, it could have been worse. Tom, last thing before we let you go, baseball back in action tonight. Huge series win against Vanderbilt. First time that you swept those guys since I think it was 94. that first time you beat them in Nashville, I think in 15 years. Just kind of your assessment of the number 2 baseball team in the country right now.
It's pretty amazing what they're doing with their hitting, and trailing in games, and then not getting panicked about it. And the way they routed in the 8th inning yesterday was amazing. They'll be playing Grambling tonight for the second time this season. Already beat them 14-3, but they are coming off their only midweek loss of the season so far. 14-13 game against Missouri State. So looks like they're going to go with Tate McGuire, the right-handed pitcher, rather than Colin Fisher, the big tuna. Hopefully got enough pitching to get through tonight. And depending on the direction of the wind, that place can be a big cavern, hard to hit it out of there, hard to score a run. So we'll see. And then obviously a big weekend series. And looks like weather could play a big role in the weekend against Missouri coming up.
Yeah. You feeling up to one more question?
Yeah, I can do it, man.
Let's talk football real quick because they're back at it for spring football, and I know that's been a big part of your focus. Big week coming up. I know some scrimmages. They got basically 3 weeks left for spring football. What will be accomplished this week as they get back off of spring break?
Well, just refining. The Petrino system is sophisticated, and you don't just run it out there and in 2 weeks you're ready to go. So continuing to rep the system for these new receivers, all these new receivers, and these new O-linemen, getting more on the same page with Taylor and Green, because it's important, man. You got to come out of spring feeling confident with running this offense. And you're right. Got a scrimmage coming up on Saturday, and then 2 more weeks, and we'll be at the red-white game.
That's coming up. Tom, we'll leave it there, man. Appreciate your time this morning, buddy.
Appreciate it, guys. Always enjoyed being with you.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting on all the madness. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to a $200,000 bracket contest, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.